In yesterday's game against the Dallas Cowboys, the Philadelphia Eagles had a really good day on the defensive line. Guys like Jalen Carter got after it. Nolan showed some flashes, as did Bryce Huff. And today we're going to analyze the tape of some of these defensive linemen. We'll also check in on Jordan Davis, who had some pretty nice plays. I'm excited for this one, man. The Dallas Cowboys have, to me, one of the best interior offensive lines in the NFL. Of course, their center is a rookie, and that is obviously going to impact this, but they still have 2 all-pro caliber guards. And we saw Jalen Carter have a lot of success yesterday. He had plays where he was absolutely dominant. And this play right here is a really nice play where he's going to go up against Zach Martin in a one-on-one. Martin does a pretty good job initially throwing the left strike. Carter's going to hesitate. He's going to punch with the right hand. It doesn't work too well initially because Martin does a good job countering it. He does a good job with the footwork. But right after that, you're going to see Jalen Carter end up going to his second move, which is going to be a left club. You can see that left club's really going to throw Zach Martin off balance. And Jalen Carter's going to end up winning this rep late. The quarterback does end up throwing it away, but Jalen Carter does do a pretty good job on this one. And there's a lot of good snaps from Carter against the Cowboys. We'll look at some of his run snaps from yesterday because I think as a run defender, Carter's definitely taken the next steps, right? He's always been good, but he definitely took the next steps this year, in my opinion. And you see plays like this where he's going to shoot the backside gap and still blow the play up on an outside zone run. That's a really good job right here to be able to shoot the left side of the center. Keep in mind, he's lined up in the 2-eye techniques. That's a hard thing to do, to shoot the backside the way he does here. Great job by Jalen Carter to shoot the backside, and then he's able to scrape down the line of scrimmage. He's going to end up getting there and blowing this play up. Gains no yards, this was a 2nd and 2. But Carter had multiple good run defensive snaps, right? You see this one as well, 3rd and 3. And he's going to blow this one up, and you're going to lose 2 yards on this one. On this play here, Jalen Carter actually has the A-gap between the center and guard. And you're going to see that they're going to block this out towards the right. And Carter does a great job with the hands. His hands are going to land right onto the center here. He's going to hold the center back. Now, keep in mind, the center has huge upside, right? I do think that this is going to be one of the best centers in the NFL, but he is a rookie at the moment, right? So with that, you see Jalen Carter kind of blow up. A really, really good football player. And this is just great technique by Jalen Carter. I do not underestimate how low this guy plays, the leverage, the hands land perfectly as well. He knows his responsibility, and he just straight up holds this center up. There's no movement with Jalen Carter on this one. All right, the running back's trying to run this to the inside. This is a mid zone. There's no movement, and the running back has to bounce this towards the right. So that's a really, really good job right there by Jalen Carter to be able to hold his ground. And this play actually loses 2 yards on 3rd and 3. The score right now is 7-3, so this is a massive moment of the game. All right, it's just a really, really good job right there by Jalen Carter. As a run defender, I think Jalen Carter's taken the next steps. I think he's gotten so much better this year than where he was last year. And a lot of it comes down to the fact that he plays faster and he definitely looks stronger. And that's one of the things with rookies in the NFL. O-line, D-line, you generally get stronger the more you play, right? And I think with Jalen Carter, you can tell this guy's definitely taking that leap in his strength, right? You can see that this guy's much, much, much stronger, and it translates to the run game, but he also has some solid snaps when it comes to pass rush. And pass rush has always been a strength of Jalen Carter's, right? So we've known this for years. Jalen Carter coming out of college was a phenomenal pass rusher, but he's even taking some steps in pass rush, and obviously when you're going up against one of the best interior offensive lines, it's going to be hard to pass rush. Right, if you go up against a team like the Saints, which the Eagles obviously did a couple weeks back, we saw Jalen Carter dominate the Saints. But even against a good interior offensive line, Jalen Carter still dominated. He had so many good reps. That too against one of the best guards in the NFL, and Zach Martin. I mean, to me, this is just a really, really good job right here. And Jalen Carter is so hard to block because he's so shifty, he's so quick. He knows how to set guys up. He knows how to punch. He knows how to swat. The club moves very aggressive, and it just works. It is so damn impressive to me to watch Jalen Carter pass rush. You don't get defensive tackles the way Jalen Carter pass rushes. Like, you don't get this, right? This is very, very, very unique. I think there's a chance that Jalen Carter is the best pass rushing defensive tackle in the NFL. And I know some people might say, hey, it's early. Chris Jones is obviously a really good football player, as is a guy like Quinton Williams. But Jalen Carter's pass rushing ability, right? The moves and just how effective it is. It's very impressive, right? He knows exactly how to land the hands, how to swim. We've seen him spin as well over the past couple of games. It might not be super effective, but he can definitely do it. The club move, the swim move, it's all very, very, very finely tuned at this point, right? And Jalen Carter has a real pass rush plan, and it allows him to generate pressure. Play in, play out, he's getting close to the quarterback, especially true pass rushing situations. It's one thing if it's 1st and 10 and a team play actions, you might not have a real shot to get to the quarterback. Or if you're running some sort of quick game concept, it's a 1 or 3 step drop, you might not actually really get to the quarterback. But on 3rd and 10, you see this guy winning and getting close to the quarterback, almost being able to get home. And multiple times this guy impacted the game against the Dallas Cowboys. And I think it's important to recognize the type of impact that this guy has had, not only in this game, but all games over the course of the season. This one's going to be a 6-yard sack here. Jalen Carter definitely is one of the reasons why this play ends up being a sack. Now, I'm not sure if he's the guy that's going to get credit for this sack or if he gets a half sack or whatever, but you can just tell, like, it's a 4-man pass rush. It's 5 versus 4. There's no chip help. And all this play is very, very important for the offensive line to slide towards Jalen Carter. Even though you have Zach Martin there, you're still going to help him, right? That's the guy you really want to go after. And the reason why is because this is the type of player Jalen Carter is, right? He gets to the quarterback. He's fast. He's quick. He's hard to block. And even when you're double teaming him, he's just going right through it. Now, that's a very, 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 very incredible thing right there by Carter. Zach Martin, a really good center as well in Cooper Beebe. And yet you still see Carter dominate these guys. This is the final pass rushing play we're going to look at. This is 4th and 4. And Carter's going to once again end up just beating the center. He's going to quickly get to the quarterback. They do pick up the first down, but again, it's a true pass rushing scenario, right? It's a true pass rushing situation. And Carter's going to end up going up against a rookie, and you can see how quickly he wins. Again, this is a one-step drop by the quarterback. So Carter has no business getting to the quarterback. And to me, that's one of the most impressive things with Carter. The fact that he's able to beat guys on 1-step, 3-step drops where he shouldn't actually get to the quarterback. And take every other defensive lineman out there. All the other guys that pass rush don't even get close. No one else gets close to the quarterback, but Jalen Carter does. He ends up bringing the quarterback down. And that's the uniqueness with Jalen Carter, right? It's just special. The way this guy moves, the way this guy gets after the quarterback. You see with this one here, it's one of his go-to pass rushes. Left hand's going to club, right hand's going to come over the top. And it's just effective as hell, right? It's so hard to stop right there because there's so much power behind it. He's quick, he's explosive, and he gets to the quarterback on this one. Just a really, really good job. Nolan Smith's another guy that's starting to generate a little bit of pressure. He's another guy that's starting to get close to getting to the quarterback. He's starting to make plays a little bit. Now, he is still technically a part-time player, right? He doesn't take starting snaps, and I think that's kind of by design, but you're starting to see this guy flash and make plays. And we had checked in on Nolan Smith a couple weeks back, and we had noted that at that point as well. But there's a lot of things this guy does right. And I almost feel like he doesn't get the credit that he deserves. And again, I know the stat sheet doesn't absolutely flash, but if you guys watch the tape, he is actually winning his snaps going up against some of these guys. There's a play we already looked at where we analyzed Jalen Carter. But keep an eye here on Nolan Smith. He's going to beat the right tackle on this one. Terrence Steele is one of the highest paid tackles in the NFL. Now, he did have an injury 2 years back. Some people think he's not the same player as he was. I think he's been a lot better this year, but you still see Nolan Smith ending up beating this veteran tackle here. Nolan Smith's going to do a really good job. He's going to get out of his stance. He's going to be able to pin the right arm of Terrence Steele, and it's going to work. Look at the left arm here. Reach, pin that back arm, and because of that pin right there, he's able to just get past Terrence Steele, right? He ultimately ends up losing his leverage on this one. So it's a pretty good job right there by Nolan Smith to be able to beat the tackle. It's a winning snap. Of course, the quarterback gets the ball out. But it's a good snap regardless by Nolan Smith, right? He almost is able to get to the quarterback on that one. Now, there were multiple plays where Nolan Smith beat the guy he was going up against. Now, I didn't 100% generate into him getting to the quarterback and hitting the quarterback, but they're winning snaps, right? And I think over time, the more snaps you play, the more you start to recognize that a guy's actually hitting a quarterback. Like on this one here, he's going to get locked in with Terrence Steele. And look at him fight through the block here. Look at the left hand, end up grabbing onto the right hand of Steele here. And then with that, he's going to also utilize the ghost move, right? He's going to bend the corner. He's going to be dropping the right hand. He's going to bend the corner. And Terrence Steele's not going to be able to re-engage with Nolan Smith. Now, of course, on this one here, Jalen Carter blows this play up right away. The quarterback's going to quickly throw it to the running back because of the fact that the guard loses so quickly. But if the right guard does not lose here as quickly as he ultimately does, Terrence Steele ends up giving up pressure, right? Nolan Smith ends up being the first guy to get there. So to me, you're seeing winning snaps with Nolan Smith. And one of the unfortunate things with Nolan Smith that I'll say is that this Philadelphia Eagles scheme is asking this guy to drop back so many snaps, and it's not allowing him to fully pass rush. Just yesterday, if you guys looked at this guy's snaps and kind of what he did on any given play, you can see that he only pass rushed 5 times. He dropped back into coverage more than he actually pass rushed, and that's pretty crazy to me, considering the fact that Nolan Smith coming out of Georgia had a crazy amount of bend. He had a crazy amount of pass rush upside. And I think a part of that also does come back to the fact that Nolan Smith did run a 4.39 40-yard dash. He's so fast and explosive. Plus, I think one of the things we wanted to see from Nolan Smith a little bit more is we wanted to see if this guy could actually play the run. And he's definitely doing a much better job against the run. There's definitely things that he's shown us that he's kind of improving on. Here's a pretty nice snap here where he's going to end up jumping to the inside of 87. He sets himself up well, but he doesn't get off the block quick enough. But I also do want to note that the running back actually changes the direction that he's running the football. Right, the running back's going to end up going from where Nolan Smith ultimately is. He's going to end up bending this super far towards the left. You can see him change that direction and kind of run away from Nolan Smith. So although Nolan Smith doesn't actually make the play, Smith does do a pretty good job forcing the running back to change and run towards a different direction. Ideally, you would like to see Smith get off the block and ultimately make the play. But Smith is doing a much better job as a run defender, and I think that's definitely showing up on tape. Right? He's getting past guys. He's getting in there. He's being disruptive, and I think that's all you can really do. As a defensive end, on these backside plays, you got to give that effort. You got to potentially get home. And he's doing a much better job, right? So Nolan Smith's a guy that's definitely developing. Now, Bryce Huff only played 12 snaps yesterday, but he did end up getting home on one of them. This was a 3rd and 9 play. And Huff's going to end up beating Terrence Steele towards the inside, and he's going to end up forcing the fumble. That's a really, really good job right there by Bryce Huff, right, to ultimately be able to get there. To me, one of the things with Bryce Huff is he's a really good pass rusher. And I think the Eagles are only mainly using him as a pass rusher. And I understand why, but the Eagles have some good defensive linemen, right? They got to utilize these guys a little bit more. I understand the plan of kind of what they're trying to do with some of these guys. But Bryce Huff has a ton of upside. He was really, really, really good with the Jets last year. This guy should be a full-time starter. He should play more. He only played 12 snaps. But you get this nasty, absolutely nasty swipe move here with the right hand. Straight up clubs Terrence Steele with the inside hand. Steele's going to end up off balance. And you're going to see that Bryce Huff's going to just straight up beat this guy to the inside. And Cooper Rush ends up going down. He ends up losing the football. Just a really, really good job right there by Bryce Huff. You had another one here where Bryce Huff's going to generate pressure. This one actually counts as a sack, although the quarterback just ends up running out of bounds. Bryce Huff doesn't get the credit. It's going to end up being Milton Williams, who's the closest player to Trey Lance when he runs out of bounds. Now, he lost 1 yard, so that counts as a sack. It's not a real sack, but regardless of that, Bryce Huff still does a really, really good job. All right, he's going to end up beating Terrence Steele with another pass rush move, right? Just a really, really good job pass rushing. And I really want to see Bryce Huff play more, right? Because this is what you get out of this guy. How many people can spin as effectively as Bryce Huff does on this one? I mean, to me, that's a phenomenal job to fake towards the outside, right? Fake that speed rush. As soon as Terrence Steele makes contact, you spin to the inside. That spin is so flawless. It's just really, really nicely done. You generate pressure on the quarterback. The quarterback has to roll to the right. The containment isn't there, right? It's not terrible, but you do still get the sack on this one, technically, right? And this was 3rd and 6, so you put the offense into a 4th and 7 situation. So it's a really, really good job right there by Bryce Huff to be able to generate pressure. I think Bryce Huff has a ton of upside. I do think that one of the things that happens is because he doesn't play enough snaps, he's not able to get that flow of the game, right? He's not able to 100% be able to come in, play out, and actually be able to get to the quarterback. But I think that happens with both Bryce Huff and Nolan Smith, so I'm not sure if there's a fix around that or not, but to me, I think the Philadelphia Eagles have some really, really, really good pass rushers. Now, I want to go ahead and just wrap this video up. We'll talk a little bit about Jordan Davis. I think Jordan Davis has been one of those guys who's been consistently disrespected. Not that he's Jalen Carter, right? No, Jordan Davis is not Jalen Carter. He's never going to be that. He's never going to generate that type of pressure. But, I work as a scout for the Hula Bowl. I also work as a scout for the Baltimore Lightnings of the IFA. And one of the things that I've realized, just talking to some of these other scouts, guys that have worked in the NFL for so many years, is it's not always about finding one type of defensive tackle, right? It's not always about finding that pass rusher. And that's it. If you don't have the pass rusher, it's not a good football player. Sometimes you need guys that are just disruptive, guys that are very, very difficult to move at the point of attack. Here's a good example of exactly what I mean with that. If you guys think about what the offense is trying to do, or the offense is trying to run this football. All right, this is a zone run towards the left. There's a specific spot you're trying to hit this to. Ideally, if you can hit this right between this gap, that's perfect. And if that doesn't work, you can obviously bend this back into one of these gaps. But ideally, you want to try running right to the left side of Tyler Smith. And you can tell based off the block here. Tyler Smith's trying to pass off Jordan Davis to the center here. If Cooper Beebe is able to reach on Jordan Davis, this play hits towards the left there, right? Or towards the left guard. Jordan Davis does not allow that to happen, right? Jordan Davis is going to just push back. He's going to stay in that gap. He's going to control Cooper Beebe for the most part. And as the running back cuts his back towards the right, Davis is also going to get off the block, and he's going to be right there to help essentially make this play. Right? To me, that's a really, really good job by Jordan Davis. So again, it's not always about having the guys that can pass rush and get after the quarterback. Teams draft guys that are legit, really, really, really good run defenders. And Jordan Davis just happens to be one of the best run defenders in the NFL. And defending the run's hard, right? It's not an easy thing to do going from college to the NFL. Jordan Davis was a monster in college at Georgia, but coming into the NFL, it's a different ballgame. Every single offensive lineman is talented. But Jordan Davis is slowly coming together. You're starting to see him dominate some of these guys, right? He's in year 3, so he's getting to that point where this is the strongest he's going to be. He's put all that effort into the offseason, and he just has to continue to get snaps and just get better, right? I mean, think about this play. The offense is trying to run a split zone concept towards the inside, and Jordan Davis is just straight up blow up number 76, and there's no lane. There's nothing here for the running back to go, and that's because Jordan Davis tosses this left tackle. Now, Jordan Davis does get reached on this, right? But it does look like he's also slanting towards the outside, so I'm not 100% sure if I would say it's a reach. Regardless, 76 gets blown up. Jordan Davis just bench presses this guy with the one arm, takes on 2 guys essentially as well, right? Because he takes on 76, the tight end hits him, he takes him on. And again, it's just about being disruptive, right? And these are the type of players that teams are sometimes looking for. And we always knew with Jordan Davis, pass rush would be one of the things he has to improve on. He's definitely gotten better this year. I think he's gotten a lot quicker off the line of scrimmage. And he's also learned what he does well and what he doesn't do well. But Jordan Davis is not going to cross-chop someone. He's not going to spin to the inside. He's a bull rusher. He's a pocket collapser. And that's kind of what he's starting to do. And I think as he just continues to take more snaps, we're going to get a defensive tackle that's going to be considered one of the most disruptive defensive tackles. All right, and he's a power-based guy, so you won't get sacks and pressures the way you do with Jalen Carter, where it's super quick. But it'll be slow, it'll be powerful, it'll be disruptive, it'll be, it'll work essentially, right? We see Dexter Lawrence as the best power-based defense tackle right now in the NFL. Vita Vea is another guy that's super, super power-based, right? These guys really just take guys and throw them backwards. And, there's a couple other guys in the NFL. T'Vondre Sweat's a rookie. He's one of those guys as well. And, of course, Jordan Davis is one of those guys as well, right? And I think Davis has gotten a lot better over the past couple of years. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, man. Philadelphia Eagles are definitely a much better team this year than they've ever been. I'm telling you guys right now, this team has a better chance to win the Super Bowl this year than they did, even in the year they made it to the Super Bowl. And I think a big part of that is because the defense from a scheme perspective is a lot better. They do a much better job running the football. And it's just a well-balanced team that the Philadelphia Eagles have. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time with another video.